This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the Aer Pro Kit, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. If you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. So the primary pack material we're working with is, you guessed it, Cordura. It is a recycled Bluesign approved 840D Cordura nylon. So we've seen this Bluesign approved recycled Cordura from them before, just as durable as you'd expect from other Cordura. I honestly don't really notice much of a difference between the recycled and the Bluesign approved compared to the older stuff when it wasn't either of those things. So overall, very happy with this. Keeps water at bay. Obviously this is more of like a tech pouch, so you're not going to really have it out in the rain or anything like that, but it's nice to have that extra protection from the elements and also just a little bit of inherent padding in the materials if something does happen. So we have YKK zippers. I really dig these poles. We've seen these on other Aer packs, but they're just pretty, like, they stay out of your way when you're not using them, but you can grab onto them pretty easily, open things up pretty quickly, just because there is that lip there on the plastic, just makes it pretty easy to open and close. There really isn't a ton going on this pack. We do have an Aer logo there on the top, which obviously you can see pretty well right now because we're really good lighting and it's really close up. But from afar, you're really not going to see that. But I do think it does add like a nice little contrast on the front face of this kit. Some people might not like it, but I really don't mind it here because it's not in the way. We have a loop on the top left here, kind of comes off of the back corner. So this is nice because you can attach it inside of your bag, or I mean, I guess in theory you could use a carabiner, hook it on the outside of something, or if you're walking around, you can hold it like this. It's a bit easier than kind of palming this. I can do this pretty easily. I don't have huge hands, but if you do have smaller hands, this isn't going to be as easy for you, so you can kind of just put your finger or a couple fingers through this loop and carry it around, or as I said, use a carabiner or something like that to make it a little bit easy. But as I mentioned, not a ton going on the outside. All of the goodies are on the inside, so let's hop in. As we're diving inside, I think it's important to note that the bottom of this thing is flat, which helps it stand up on its own when it's not open, but also helps it stand up on its own when you do open it and this flap comes down. You can leave it sitting like this and leave it on your desk at home in the coffee shop or something like that. How you pack it out will maybe make it fall over. So if you have a bunch of heavy stuff that kind of piles up in this back compartment, it can kind of fall back that way. But because of the flat bottom, it really doesn't happen often. I think I was only able to pack it up once where that was the case, and that was because there was a heavier battery bank on the top backside over here. But we'll get into that a little bit later. On this front, the flap side here, we have this elastic loop here, which is a good spot for like pens or a stylus or something like that. I really don't bring pens with me, and I don't have a stylus because I don't have an iPad or anything like that. So it is a nice inclusion and it stays out of the way. So I could put cables in there if I wanted to as well. Anything small and like thin, you'll be able to fit there. If you have something really long, you're obviously not gonna be able to fit it in because this thing isn't that wide, but it's just a nice inclusion because, as I said, it doesn't get in your way if you're not using it, as I'm currently not, but then you can stow, cables, pen, pencil, stylus, whatever there. Then we have a stretchy mesh pocket here. I dig this material. We've seen it in other Aer products in the past. It looks nice, but also then when push comes to shove, it has a bit of stretch. So if you were to stow something a little bit larger inside of here, it'll be able to push out a little bit. So it's still contained, but it can fit inside the pocket. I've just got my 3 charging cables in here. So USB-C to USB-C, Lightning, and micro USB, because I don't know, 2023, you still need a micro USB, I think. Nothing else in there, but you could have stowed something larger in there if you wanted to, just a standard liner here behind that. Moving over to this side, I actually really like how this is designed. I'm actually gonna close it for a second to kind of get into how it is designed. So it's kind of a triangle when it's on its side. You have, the bottom here coming up to a point up here. So the way this is designed is, instead of just having like a liner pocket on the back here that you could put a small tablet or a Kindle in, this is actually kind of like a divider. So this is built into the front side here of this triangle. So that way there's more space in the back. And I like that because when you do open this up to set it on your desk or something like that, all your stuff isn't coming tumbling out because your stuff is contained back here, at least if that's how you pack it. You could put it here if you wanted to, or you could do a little bit of both, but I like that your stuff is all contained and it's not falling out all over the desk or if you're at the coffee shop or something like that. So right now I've just got a larger 20,000 milliamp battery bank, and then the Kindle from here in the office to show that the Kindle does fit inside there. Because there is so much extra space, depending on what you put in there, you might want to have a case on something like this. Because I do have this protective case on this battery bank, I didn't feel so bad about it, you know, rubbing up against it. Now that that's out of there, you can kind of see that it's got that depth there at the bottom. And I think this also helps it stand up on its own, because if you put something heavier on the bottom there, it's not going to tumble over. But this divider also has some organization in it. Up here, we've just got a zippered pocket, and this one's doesn't have any mesh, so you can't really shove stuff in there. At least on the front side, there is mesh on the back side, but if you shove a bunch of extra stuff in here, it's going to eat into that compartment we just mentioned, and then it doesn't work as well. I've just got a pair of corded headphones in there, because you never know when your Bluetooth headphones might die and you need to listen to some music or something. Close that back up, and then we have 2 mesh pockets here. Just got my little wall charger in one of them, and then the Joby Grip Tight 1 micro stand in the other. These are really, kind of do-it-all things. You could put a mouse in there, you could put your wallet in there if you wanted to. They're just good. This mesh is really stretchy, and I think it looks pretty professional. If you are at the coffee shop or something like that, you can open it up and you have stuff in there, and you can't necessarily see what's in there, but you have quick access to it if you want to. So I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think I was gonna like this thing very much when I first started testing it, but I really like this design with the area back here to stow stuff. I think it's a unique design, and it's just refreshing to be able to, like, I don't know, I typically have the split kit, and you can kind of have that on the desk, but you can't really have it open. And this is just, I don't know, you can kind of have it open and sitting next to you, and you have access to all your stuff without having to open a bunch of zippers. I just think it's very fun. I don't think it's for everyone. Not everyone likes to set their stuff out on the desk or on their workspace, but for people who do, I think it's a cool and unique design. So there you have it, the Aer Pro Kit. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.